Hi, this is Clay from Conferences.io. I'm going to give you a walkthrough on setting up and managing session evaluations. In this tutorial, we'll look at how to create evaluation questions, which will include some recommendations on what type of questions to ask. We'll look at our options for enabling session evaluations either manually or automatically. And lastly, we'll look at how to access the evaluation data captured. Before we get started, it's important to note that the evaluation questions we create must be applicable to all sessions. We'll be creating one set of questions, and every session will have the same set of evaluation questions. Let's get started. I have a sample site displayed. Your Conferences.io site might look a little different, but the process to set up evals will be the same. After signing in as admin, we'll visit the admin dashboard page. After scrolling down a bit, we'll choose Manage Evaluation Questions as our first important stop. I'll click to create my first question. A common evaluation question to have is, rate the session overall. When creating eval questions, we have 4 different types to choose from: rating, multiple choice, short or long answer. For our first question, we'll choose rating as a type, and we use a popular rating scale of 1 through 5 as shown here. The reason that we have separate boxes for the number values versus the labels is that in doing so, our survey results will use the numeric values to automatically compute the average score for us. I'll save this first question by scrolling to the bottom and clicking Create. Next, I'll create a second question, which will be, rate the speaker of this session. A quick but important note about this. If any of your sessions have more than one speaker, there's an optional feature to activate when asking attendees to rate presenters, which we'll find further down the page. By choosing multi-presenter, the system will automatically repeat the speaker rating question for all presenters that have been associated with a session. After choosing my options, I'll click Create to save. Before moving on, I'll add 2 more open-ended questions. One will be a short answer type, and one will be a long answer type. Choosing a long answer type provides a larger box for attendees to write a response into. Please note that this type of question is optional for attendees to answer. Now that we've completed the creation of our questions, let's look at how we can activate session evaluations so that users can respond. We'll return to the admin dashboard and choose Change Evaluation Settings. The default setting that is shown here indicates that users will not automatically see a button appear for session evals. If you have defined start times and end times for your sessions, we recommend choosing an automatic unlock setting. If there's a possibility that any of your sessions might end a little sooner than their designated end time, choosing any of these bottom options is recommended. Click Save Changes when done. Even though we have now configured our evals to automatically become available before the session ends, it is a good idea to test and review your evaluation questions before your event. Let's look at how to do that next. I'll return to the home page and choose a session for testing. I'll scroll down and choose Sign in to moderate, and then click on Session Settings. Under the choice Enable Disable Features, I'll activate Session Evaluation. Notice that the button for attendees immediately appeared. We can now test the end user experience on our smartphone or via another browser. After testing my questions, if I need to make any adjustments, I can return to the admin choice for Manage Evaluation Questions to add or edit my questions. Before we leave this page, it's worth repeating that if you have any sessions with multiple speakers, a panel discussion for example, you can configure your eval questions to automatically repeat for each speaker name, like shown in this example. For more info on how to manage presenters, visit our video tutorial on that topic. I'll return now to the screen for changing evaluation settings for this important reminder. Because we designated that our evals should automatically unlock before the session ends, you don't need to enable session evaluations in each session. Now that my testing is done, I'll disable session evaluations in this session. Again, don't worry that the status here says disabled. The automatic unlock setting that we chose earlier will override this when the appropriate time comes. Keep in mind that you aren't required to use the automatic unlock setting for evaluations. Some organizations prefer to make the evaluations available right from the start of the session. The thought process here is that the earlier or longer the evaluation is open, the more likely attendees will respond to it. If you prefer this method instead of the automatic unlocking, you can bulk enable the evaluation in all sessions by going to Manage Sessions, then Bulk Actions, Update Feature Settings, Enable Evaluations, and then click Apply Changes. After doing so, the button for Evaluate this session will be enabled in all sessions. For our last stop, we'll look at how to access our evaluation data that gets captured. To do so, we'll visit the admin dashboard and choose Export Evaluations. An Excel file is created immediately when we choose this. In the spreadsheet, we'll find a worksheet for each eval question along with columns for each named session. The sheets show the number of votes that each rating question received, along with an average score at the bottom. We'll also find additional tabs in the spreadsheet that are named with dates, which shows the responses received for sessions that were on that date. These detailed sheets show each individual response along with any attendee identification info if that was activated for the session. There's also a column with the submission timestamp for each individual eval that was submitted. By default, the evaluation data is anonymous, but if attendee ID requirements are turned on in your sessions, the attendee ID information will be included in the spreadsheet. Another way to identify attendees within the eval data is to add a short answer question asking for their name. Once you have a safe copy of your evaluation data, we recommend clearing out the old data prior to your next event, which can be done here. In summary, Conferences.io provides you with the functionality needed to collect feedback from your attendees about the presenters and sessions. Thank you for watching. This concludes our look at session evaluations.